Hey you guys, it's your girl Just Behave and I am back with another video. And yes, I have a new background, baby. Back at it, what? Gorgeous. But anyways, in this video is just gonna be a video to you know, help out beginners and like have a conversation and talk about things that need to be talked about, just so that you know you can make sure you're on the right path and to make sure you stay motivated and stuff like that. Yeah, this is just an advice video. It's like what you need to be doing to make sure you know you're elevating in this nail world. What are you doing to set yourself apart? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm going to be talking about, you know, things that you should be working on as a beginner, and I'm saying this so that you can be on top of your game. And I feel like these are things that I wish people would have told me that I needed to know, so like I could be making money quicker and stuff like that. So this is why I'm doing this video. So get yourself a little notepad or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna list, I don't know, I'm not gonna say the number because I don't know if I'm gonna come up with that much, but I'm just gonna list some things that you guys should definitely be working on when it comes to doing nails, especially if you're a beginner, so that you can make sure that you're ahead of the game at all times. And you can make sure that, you know, you on point, like all your stuff is like, you know, lined up and you can do everything that is needed. The first thing is encapsulation. You should practice encapsulation from jump. And the reason why I say this is because like when you're encapsulating, there's things that you need to learn. Like for example, people just think that it's just putting, you know, something in a nail and then covering it up or whatever the case may be, when it's not. There's a different amount of acrylic that you should use when you're using certain size things to encapsulate. So I'm going to just show you guys some examples. Alright, so I'm just going to go with 3 examples just so that, you know, we can make this video quick and straight to the point. Alright, so these are just regular like encapsulations. As you guys can see, it's just some butterflies and they're flat. So when you're encapsulating these, you don't need to use like too much acrylic and you don't need to work that thin. Basically, this will cap any way that you put it, it'll cap. And then you have flowers. So with flowers, you would have to place the flowers on the nail, and then you want to use a bead that's a certain size to cap the flower, because if you keep on passing through the flower with the brush, it'll take the color off of the dry flower. And these are things that I've experienced, so that's why I'm giving my advice on it. With this, you would just want to use like probably a wet bead so that it can glide down, or do like a 1 bead method, or just make sure you cap the flower and then you can go over it to do what you have to do. The next example, gems like this. So these are just like seashells or stars and all of this stuff like that. With these, you're gonna want to use more acrylic to encapsulate it because it's a bit bulky and it's thick. So you can't work really thin because you'll never get the cap on. You want to probably try to learn how to do a nice thick 1 bead, medium bead, or whatever, or large bead to cover this up. That way you can, you know, file and shape the nail without you being able to feel this inside of the nail. So that's just number 1. So basically encapsulation, you want to make sure you practice that. That way you know if you have to work with some thicker products in the nail, then you would work with heavier beads. If you would work with these, you want to make sure you're not constantly swiping over the flower, because you are going to remove the color from it. And then if you have these, then you should be fine. These are definitely great to encapsulate because the monomer and stuff doesn't wipe off any of the color. It doesn't damage it or anything. You can work as you want to work with this. The next thing, and I feel like is really important, is nail tips. And the reason why I say nail tips is because there's so many different types, brands, this, that. People prefer a certain brand rather than the other. I say with the nail tips, I say that you look into watching videos and finding out what styles you like, because you can really kill a set in a good amount of time if you have the proper nail tips. And I'm going to show you guys an example. So these are stiletto tips. So these are some stiletto tips or whatever the case may be, and I got these from Livy Ortega. I buy them and they're like $15 and it comes with 500. But these are perfect for if you want to do stilettos, or if you want to do a nice ballerina tip, or even if you want to do a coffin. Because they're pointy, it's way easier for you to file them and shape them and do what you have to do, other than working with a square nail to get the shape that you want. So as you guys can see, this one is pointy. So this definitely would be great for stiletto, coffin, ballerina tip. These will definitely work for you, and this will definitely minimize the time that you spend shaping and filing a regular file. And they're pretty lengthy, so you can do like a nice long set with these, or short, or however, the lower you go, the nicer it'll look, and you will be able to define your shape more. So I definitely say get you some of these girls. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys are just some regular tips, and these are from like the local nail supply store. And people, like mainly people use these when they begin and start like that, but honestly I don't even use them anymore. Like I'm trying to get rid of them because I just feel like for the sets and stuff that I do, I just don't prefer these. I don't like them anymore. And if you just want to do a plain set, like a plain square set, or you know, coffin or whatever, you can get it done. But it takes a lot of work and a lot of time, and you gotta cut them and do what you got, all these things to it. And then it has like a deep curve. So these, if you're doing double tips, I wouldn't recommend these, because they would give you double tips like a super duper curve. And if you're trying to do like a coffin or a square, I just don't like the super duper duper curved nail with these Mccart tips. And I just got these tips in the mail from Amazon. And the reason why I bought them is because I watch Sydney Alexis, I think that's her name. She does like really bomb nails. I love her channel, and she uses these. And when I tell you that she slays like a tapered square with these, and this is the reason why I bought them. If you want like a nice tapered square, and the tip not be too curved or whatever the case may be, and nice and sharp, you definitely want to get these tips. And I'm just now opening them up, and I can already see that I'm about to do like a set, period. This is how the tip looks, and it has like a curve at the top of it, like right here, but it doesn't have a curve at the bottom. And that's what I like about it, because I do not want when I'm doing like a tapered square for that curve to go all the way in, because I feel like it messes with the shape and it causes the nails to look very weird. Unless the client wants the curve, then you can use curved tips. But if your client doesn't want it and they want like a nice tapered straight square, then definitely use these tips. And I'm gonna show y'all the difference. This is how you can tell the difference. This one has a deep dip at the bottom. As you guys can see, like the dip of the nail tip from the salon, which is this one, it has like a really deep curve. And then this one right here, as you guys can see, the bottom of it is really flat. This is the Mccart tip. So that alone is gonna make a huge difference in your nail and the shape. So definitely invest in some good tips. So make sure y'all get these tips. These are how they look, and I'm gonna link them down below in my cart. Thank you, Sydney Alexis, for telling me about these tips, because baby girl, I'm about to slay some nails. Period. I ordered the other color. They were sold out of the natural, so I got clear, but I'm gonna go buy the natural ones as well, because I think these are gonna be like my favorite square tips. And Libby Ortega for the stiletto ones, period. Now, the next thing that you need to make sure you work on, and I don't say that you need to make sure you're working on it like to stress you out, but these are things that I'm telling you to do like on your downtime. That way you're not stuck feeling lost, or you feel like you don't know what you should work on next or what you should be doing. This is just like some type of, like, if you have like a goal sheet, you should definitely write down on the goal sheet different techniques and different things that you want to master. That way you get better and better, and the better you are at your craft, the more money that you're going to make, and the better you're going to do when it comes to your nail career. So the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and talk about is sculpting. And everybody knows, you know, there's different nail forms or whatever the case may be. So I have these, and I got these from AliExpress. They're pretty trash, I'm not gonna lie. If the person has like sweaty hands and stuff, it ain't gonna work with these. You gotta get some strong sticky ones. And this is like for the stiletto. If you want to do a ballerina tip, you definitely can, and I've used them before. It works for me, but if you got some sweaty hands, like I said before, you gotta get like the high-end ones, because the cheap ones is not gonna work for somebody with sweaty hands. The next shape is this one, and it has like this is like for square. You can even do coffin with this if you fold it correctly. But I think that you guys should practice this, because I'm still not perfect at I'm not perfect at anything, like, period, because I just started like a few months ago. But I say practice this because you have to learn how to properly place these things. You have to learn how to make sure you fold it correctly. You have to make sure, like, you know, all the nails are even and not crooked and all of that. Like this, I hated sculpting because it was just getting on my nerves. But then the look of it when it's done is like no other. The feel of them are like no other. Like they feel adhered to your nails to the T. They fit perfectly. I love sculpting like my nails. It takes forever, and that's another thing. It takes a very long time to do, so the more you practice it, the quicker that you'll get at it, and then, you know, you can charge accordingly. Ka-ching, ka-ching, bling, 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 if you know what I mean, okay? All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna talk about is brushes, and you guys, this is, I got down to 3 brushes. I just ordered another brush, size 12 from Nail Supply Glamour, and I'm waiting for that to come in the mail. But brushes, and this is another important thing, because y'all, you gonna start with one brush and then think you like it, and then you're gonna use another brush and then think you like it, and then you're gonna use another brush and then think you like it, and then realize you have a favorite brush. Then when you pick a favorite brush, you have to make sure that it's the right size, because like with me, I got comfortable with this brush. So it looks a little rusty or whatever the case may be, because, you know, this is like my day one brush. Like, I started with this one. So yeah, I use it a lot. But because it's so small, it was taking me forever to do a set with this. And I didn't realize it until I'm like, dang, like I'm doing nails and it's taking forever. Because why? I'm using these baby beads because I have this baby brush. And this is supposed to be like a number 10 brush from C&D. It's a great brush. I love how it picks up product. I love how it levels out the water, but it is just entirely too small. So I use this brush for like my press-on nails. If I'm doing like an accent nail, marbling, encapsulation, I will use this brush because you can be very detailed with this brush and place everything where you need it to go. And it's good for like a cuticle bead as well. Like if you want to make sure your cuticles are clean, I recommend this brush. But it's so little that you're gonna take forever to do nails with it. So I had to like consider other options. Originally, I thought I could just go into a nail supply store and get a brush. Then I end up like with something like this. This is like a damn eyeshadow brush. It's like just round, and I tried to cut it and everything, and it was just too fluffy. And it says, look, it was fading away, but it says that this is a number 8. I don't even know how y'all can see this. But yeah, going to these nail supplies, this is not no number 8. This is a number 10,000. This is huge. Look at this, y'all. This is allegedly supposed to be a 10. And this is supposed to be an 8. Y'all, I'm spinning the brushes around. Look how thick this damn brush is. Look at this. How the hell is this a number 8? Yeah, and this one is a number 12 from another nail supply that I went to. And I pinched this one myself, because sometimes, you know, you have to pinch your brushes, and this is a 12. But I don't understand how this is an 8, but whatever. All right, y'all, so the next thing that you want to work on is marbling and ombreing. And the reason that I'm saying this is because those two things are very popular in the nail world, and you want to make sure that you're able to marble. Even though your marbling may not be perfect, and that's what I love about the design of marble, because it's never going to be the same. It's all going to look different variations of colors mix well together, and some don't. So you want to make sure, you know, you practice marbling. That way you know how to properly manipulate colors and do certain mixtures and create, like, you know, nice nails. You gotta practice on those two things because it takes time to perfect both of them. Right now I am not the best at marbling. I'm not the best at ombreing. Like, I can ombre, but it's not like to the point where I want to be. And it's just like a growing thing because you have to learn about the bead placements. You have to learn about having a proper fade. You have to learn about, you know, making it look right. And, you know, you can get past, you know, you can only get so far with the mediocre ombre, because if they ask you to ombre 5 colors and you can't even ombre 2, you're gonna be making the person's nail look like throw up. So that's something that you want to practice and master. And yeah, next thing that you want to make sure you perfect are your pictures. And y'all, pictures are so important. Like, I wish that I knew how important they were, because at first I'm here thinking like, okay, all I gotta do is do the nails, take a picture, boom. No, sis, you gotta get the angles. You have to make sure your camera settings are like on point. And I'm gonna do like a screen record of the camera settings. That way, if you have an iPhone, you can use your iPhone, because I feel like that's what takes the best nail pictures, in my opinion. So I'm gonna show you guys the settings so that you guys can make sure your nail pictures are popping. And I'm gonna show y'all how I take my pictures. So yeah, maybe in another video. I'll probably do another video. But yeah, make sure your pictures all have like the same to a similar background, because you don't want your page to look all over the place. And I'm a beginner, so I'm just telling you guys all the things that I feel like I should work on myself. Like, I'm talking to myself as I talk to y'all. Yeah, Instagram, like, that is another thing. Like, oh my God, like, doing nails or just having a brand period is like a full-time freaking job. Like, I didn't realize how important social media, like in Instagram, was. Realize how important like pictures and stuff was on Instagram until I go like on other nail techs pictures, and I'm like, damn, her page is together. It looks, it's coordinating and it's just going. Mine look crazy. I was just like, what is this? So now I'm trying to rebrand and stuff like that. So that's something that you guys got to think about. Don't create a logo so quickly, because you don't know if that's going to be the logo that you want to represent your brand, and you don't want to go off wasting money. So yeah, your Instagram, you want to make sure that it has the proper colors. You want to make sure that it has like a background that is consistent. You want to make sure the background is consistent. Like, I was going outside, by a flower, by a wall, by this, by that, and it was just causing my Instagram to look crazy. So now I finally ordered some things, and I'm waiting for them to get here so that I can show you guys how to have like a nice nail background. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that in another video. But let's move on to the next thing. The next thing that I want to talk about is money and budgeting. Y'all, when you're a beginner or when you do nails, period, it's so easy to go out of budget, and it's so easy to just go waste all your money on a bunch of things that you don't even need. So a tip that I have is to write down everything you need, and before you make a purchase, compare it to all your necessities. Write down a list of all the things that you would want, whether it's powders, glitters, polishes, drills, whatever the case may be, and write that list down. Put the things that are priority, put a star next to them. Get the things that are like priority. Don't go get a bunch of things that you know you don't need yet. You don't want to just go over and above. You want to start somewhere, you know, at least master it a little bit and then move on to the next thing. Don't just buy a bunch of shit, because you'll become overwhelmed and then you won't know where to start. So attack it in that way. If you want to learn encapsulations, buy a couple of things to encapsulate. If you want to learn gel, buy a couple of like poly gels or whatever the case may be. But don't go buy 10 freaking bottles of poly gel if you're just learning. Don't go buy like, you know, 15 glitter powders if, you know, you're not going to be using them for real. Like, be honest with yourself and, you know, do it like on a go by go basis. The more you master things, the more you can buy yourself more and more products. But get the things that are important first. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about is acrylic powders. And y'all, this is one of the most important things. Like when it comes to buying products, don't just go crazy buying a bunch of stuff. Like, no, do your review other people's reviews and then review that. Like, don't go buy 10,000 of something because somebody else said, oh yeah, this is my favorite powder, I like Mia's Secret, for example. Now, Mia's Secret, I love Mia's Secret. And the reason why I love Mia's Secret is because I use that powder for certain things. Like if I'm encapsulating, I'm gonna use Mia's Secret because it's more watery, it's running. I can definitely, you know, do what I have to do with the Mia's Secret, do like a nice thin layer of whatever I need. From the acrylic, I would use Mia's Secret for that. But if you think I'm about to do a full set of nails with just Mia's Secret clear, not happening because it's too watery. It's gonna take me forever to build it up. And then you also wanna be careful with acrylic powders and make sure you review every single powder that you buy if you can, because a lot of products marble, a lot of color, or a company would have like, you know, a good amount of powders. Some of them would marble and some of them wouldn't. So go do your review so that you can find out the colors that have the best pigment, don't marble, apply well. You want to make sure you review those things because it's still an investment and the money adds up. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is shaping. Y'all, you have to make sure that you practice shaping. And another thing, watch other people's videos, watch texts that you like. If you like the way they shape, go watch their YouTube channel to see how they get the looks that they get and practice that. I used to overfile with the nail drill or whatever the case may be. Like I would just keep going and going and going, and then by the time I noticed it, my nails would be like, you know, flat. I would like basically drill my apex off. These are things that you have to learn because everyone shapes differently, everyone likes a different look for nails, so you have to make sure you master that. And also with hand filing, when you're shaping the nail, you need to learn to like do an even balance. What you do on one side, you want to make sure you do it to the other side, and then one of your nails will be leaning this way and then you wouldn't be able to get that shape back. Like there's a lot of things to practice, you guys, so don't feel discouraged. When you don't have clientele, don't just like, you know, take that as an L. Practice on your own nails, practice on your friends. If you ain't got no friends, then practice on yourself. Like don't just not do anything. Make sure you're practicing something, make sure you're mastering something, because if you want this to be your career, sis, you have to put in that work. Like, what you discouraged for? Go harder, do better. Try to do different designs, use your creativity. Don't try to be like the next person. Try to beat yourself. Don't compare yourself to anybody else or who's been doing it for 10 years and all that stuff. You are your own competition. Master your craft. You know, do what's best for you, and you gonna kill it. You gonna kill it. I guarantee you gonna kill it. But this concludes this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more of me, duh, like who else? But anyway, yeah, so these are just my tips for beginners, things that you should be mindful of, look out for, and stuff like that, like, period. Yeah.